in.
I wouldn't want to live forever, man. I don't
Me
know.
neither.
I'm pretty cool.
I would. If
I like to see what would be around, but
That's why it was always my thing, because everyone was like, "Oh, you don't want to live forever because you're just gonna watch everyone around you die."
Well, you're gonna do that anyway in your
People
normal
always
life.
told me that, but you're basing that on if I was the only immortal. Period. What happens if the rest of the population was too?
I'd get tired, man.
No,
I'd get bored.
You would get bored off of what though?
Well, it depends on my.
Being here, you know, like eventually it's like, dude, I've seen it. If you're immortal, my bad, Tobias, but if you're immortal, you're gonna do and see everything.
Yeah, you're gonna do and see
And
everything.
Eventually it's gonna be like, okay, what else?
But think about it like this, right? Okay, say you're immortal right now, and 33 comes around.
Not 33, damn.
3033 comes around, and the shit that's happening in the world is still happening. Right? Think about that right now. 3033, the same shit
right.
is happening right now.
Okay.
Is in 3033. You 100% know off of learning everything on this planet that it can do better, that it can be better, that it can properly advance if humans got their shit together. Meaning, if you keep living, eventually it's going to happen. Whether or not you step in and make that shit happen it's completely irrelevant. But it's the fact that on a human standpoint of thinking, it will happen.
Okay.
Once they get their shit together.
I do want to ask, because this is actually a thought process I want to get into, just a little bit. Everyone, what's your opinion? If you're told right here, right now, like a magical wizard, if a magical shaman, one could say,
Yeah, I've made a deal with you. if you gave a shaman 3 Steam gift cards, yeah.
he says to you, you will become immortal, right? Would you take that
100%.
deal?
100%.
Because I feel like I would too.
I would do it without thinking.
It'd be
And-
very
and
tempting.
why?
I'd be very tempted.
Because
You want me to say why?
yeah, because I'll go first. In the way, right, where like people say you'll get bored, right? But at a certain point, you have to think there's so much that if let's say I lived in the 1800s,
Okay.
right? Maybe for like, I don't know, 50 years to 100 years, maybe, and then like computers will come back. And then that I won't be bored with that. And then for right now, maybe I'll be bored for the next 100 years, and then we'll be spacefaring. And then I won't be bored with that. And then maybe I'll be bored with that for the next 100 years, and then we'll dimensional hopping. And the thing is, you won't be, sure, you may be bored with what you are now, but you're mortal. 50 years down the line, this won't be what it is now.
Yeah, gotcha.
Society will still advance continuously, or we will get destroyed. You know, stagnation is decimation.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to be immortal, not even because I'd be bored, but it's just like, one day I'd just be like, man, I'm tired. I'm just ready to go. Like,
That's fair.
I'd be ready to go. You know
That's
what I mean?
fair.
Like, the whole point of being a human is death. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see what's after. I don't know about everybody else. Motherfucker, heaven or hell. You know what I mean? What the fuck is going on? Or am I just sleep for the rest of eternity? You know what I mean? Like,
I made a quick side note before I tell you about my personal opinion on
yeah,
immortal.
let Tobias go too.
Oh,
Get
right.
him, man.
So, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say about that heaven and hell thing. I made an atheist cry once because being an atheist is dumb to me. Because your standpoint is in the belief that there are no afterlife, there's no higher being, and that's fine and all, until you die, bro. And I'm gonna tell you something very fast. It's scientifically proven. After you're dead, you can hear for the next 5 minutes. You can't do shit, but you can still hear for 5 minutes.
One day, Chris, because as a former believer to a non-believer to now an atheist, and as a continuous believer in the spiritual, me and you will do a podcast together, and we're just gonna go ham. We're just gonna go ham.
I do want to see that.
That's fair.
We're just gonna go ham. But you, Phantom?
So I'll be honest. I think there's very little left on this earth or anything that could be discovered that I would care enough to want to keep living to see.
Okay.
Like unless my life turns to a point where things are just wonderful and I can live like comfortably for eternity, then I just wouldn't want to be here. I look at things now and I look at I have no confidence really in the future of America. I don't want to fucking be here while that shit goes down.
Fair.
I would.
It's completely
like,
fair.
No way. So personally, I'd rather just die. Because even you were talking about the afterlife. Even if there's nothing, I would rather there be nothing than to just be here and hating it all. Yeah. Honestly,
I would rather see the past than the future.
Okay, and here's my point with that. Okay. Now, based off what you said about your own personal belief in it, you're taking that as a route of first still being in this country and not doing anything about it. 100%, if I'm immortal, bro, and I'm not talking about like just like you live forever type immortal, bro. Because
true immortality.
Because if that ever came out, you're just gonna get experimented on.
That's the situation. The situation is it's a curse. Mm-hmm. You can't choose when you die. You can't just drown yourself or hang yourself. If you choose to pick immortality, you are immortal. It's a curse forever.
That's what true immortality is. You can't do shit about it. Longevity, as in eternal youth, no, that's different.
I'd take that regardless.
I'd 100%.
Because then I could just off myself if I really wanted to.
I wouldn't mind that.
But like, the thing about that is, first, America is a failed society. I'm sorry, any Americans that are like highly loving of this country. Yeah, bro. Fuck you. No, well, not fuck you, but fuck you at the same time because you fucking
oh no,
because you fucking know as a human being living in this country how this country is. America in of itself is a failed society. Andrew Tate said it best, bro. Like, why be in a country where you can't even walk out in the street in your own skin without being reprimanded by someone who's different going down the same road on the opposite side? It's stupid. This country as a whole is failed. Me personally as an immortal, you're a comic person. You know Vandal Savage?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm going
leader of entire societies. He's been named. Okay, I see what Vandal Savage route.
I'm going down the Vandal Savage route. I'm not stupid enough to just be in this fucking world and of myself just going around bullshitting. This world's going to be.
We'll continue. I'll let you finish.
This world's going to be good because I'm gonna make it good, bro. Like, not in an image of where I look at the world and how it should be, but based off of how the world can be. That's point of like a religion thing where like God gave human beings free will, but also want them to do what he says. Nah, you can have free. In my type of viewpoint, you can do what you want. That's not the following in my will. No, because I'm human too. Do what you want, but war, that shit got to go. 100%. That got to go.
I got something to say after the fence.
You've seen Invincible?
I have.
Of course.
I love it.
Okay.
Of course.
Who's read Invincible?
No.
Have you read it? No?
Nope.
Okay. One thing about Invincible the comic. Robot, like the robot guy in the comic, he ends up like growing up and he takes over the planet and succeeds.
Good for him. Good for him.
But here's the thing. He made the world a utopian world. Mark didn't agree with it, but he made a utopian world. It was rough at first, but it ended up working. Villains don't exist. War don't exist. None of that shit exists at all. That's what I would end up doing. It would take a while, so a lot of my lifespan would be simply making human beings understand with common sense
And
how shit should work.
That's always the question, right? Like with Superman's power, Superman's basically God. Should Superman
intervene?
Well,
see, hold on, because this is where my problem with that crops up, is that you assume that people would listen to you. Like you being immortal doesn't make you more powerful.
True.
If they wanted, they could like lock you in chains. You could do nothing. Especially in a world where if we're advancing to have other immortal people would be fighting you for that role. There could be some guy who wants to take over the world because he's also immortal but has a completely different viewpoint. You have to assume that with this immortality, you can convince all of the races of Earth to come together.
Now,
Which that's going to be a
That's-
bitch, especially with
that's-
newer
That's
generations.
going to cause a war in of itself.
Of course.
Because eventually they're
There's
going to all
there's
gang up
no
on you
way
together.
there's no way you're going to gain this amount of power in this theoretical setting, and a crusade doesn't happen.
Facts.
It's going to be the biggest war. Because this would have to be the war to end all wars. It would be humongous.
Unless that's your goal from the start. They all team up against you, and then once if they finally kill you, they'd be like, you know what, man?
On some Naruto Code Geass
Yeah,
type shit?
I see what he was saying.
See,
We should stop fighting each other.
Even if I'm immortal, and if I finally get kicked the bucket because the world gang's up against me, hey, guess what? You fucking all came to an agreement to get rid of me. I fucking win in the end, bro. Human beings are at war with each other because they argue like fucking children over shit they have no business arguing over. For instance, money. My bad. Money is a thing that people go to war over. People are the people that put money as something as it should be a significant thing. No, it's not. What is? I don't got a dollar on me. But if I pulled a dollar out, what is that dollar so significant over that it's worth going and killing your fellow man over? What is something that a diamond, something that if you just simply dug into the ground, into the earth deep enough, you would find? You put significance behind something that has no significance over, because money and jewelry and cars and houses, that shit can be built, that shit can be eternal, that shit can continue to be in of itself because it has no lifespan. A human being has a lifespan, and because you want this, you're willing to get rid of him, her, she, they. It does not matter.
Right.
That's stupid to me. Me personally, that shit, that mentality inside of a human being, that's gotta go. That's not even feral instinct.
Ooh.
Feral
That's hard. That hit hard.